Welcome to the Learn English at Home 79 community. I'm Jenny, your host today. If you're just joining us, let me give you a brief overview of what we do here. Our goal is to help you enhance your English listening and writing abilities through relatable stories, examples, and engaging material. Today's episode is particularly beneficial for intermediate learners. You will listen to stories intended to improve your listening comprehension, and by the end, you'll feel more assured in your language skills. Each story is fictional but relates to real-life scenarios, so prepare to enhance your English skills just by listening. Understanding stories. Let's kick off with a question. How do you feel when you hear a story in English? Do you catch everything, or do you find certain parts challenging? Are there words that confuse you? Or do you sometimes miss the overall message? Today we aim to address that. I'll share 3 brief stories from my life, which, while fictional, depict situations anyone could encounter. By listening to these tales, you'll practice comprehending various accents, sentence structures, and vocabulary applicable to everyday life. You can also enhance your writing skills by contemplating how to retell these tales in your own words. Story 1, Getting Lost. Our first story is set in a quaint town. I'm Jenny and I recall a hiking trip I took with my husband, Daniel. It was a stunning Saturday morning, and we chose to check out a new trail we had heard about. The air was refreshing, and all seemed perfect. However, as we ventured further into the woods, we realized we had lost our way. Have you ever experienced being lost? It's such an odd sensation, especially in an unfamiliar place. We made an effort to retrace our steps, but the trail markers seemed to vanish. After about an hour of wandering, we chose to ask a local man walking his dog for directions. He smiled and informed us that we had strayed off the main path, kindly guiding us back to where we began. That experience taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes, seeking help is the best approach, and it's alright to be lost as long as you know how to find your way back. Story 2, Dinner with Friends. Now let's proceed to the second story. This one revolves around a dinner I shared with my husband, Daniel, and some dear friends. We gathered to celebrate their new business, and they graciously invited us over for a large meal. While seated around the table, chatting and laughing, the conversation unexpectedly shifted to a serious matter. One of our friends, Tom, started sharing how he launched his business. He detailed the challenges he encountered, the risks he undertook, and the sacrifices he made. Listening to him was truly inspiring, and it made me reflect on the immense effort that goes into running a business. Tom's narrative serves as a reminder that success isn't easily achieved, and patience and persistence are essential. Can you relate to this? Have you ever confronted a challenge that felt insurmountable, but chose not to give up? Story 3, Renovating Our House. Let's discuss the third story. A few months back, my husband and I chose to renovate our home. Our goal was to enhance its comfort, but we soon discovered that the project was larger than we had anticipated. The walls needed a fresh coat of paint. The floors were in poor condition, and much of the furniture was outdated. We opted to hire a contractor for assistance, and initially, everything progressed well. However, a few weeks later, the work came to a halt. The contractor stopped showing up, which made us anxious. After numerous phone calls and some frustration, the contractor finally revealed that he was going through some personal issues. He apologized and assured us that the work would be completed soon, which it eventually was. The house turned out beautifully after the renovation. But the experience taught me the value of patience and the necessity of clear communication. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where things didn't unfold as expected, yet you managed to remain calm and work through it? The value of mistakes. These narratives are based on actual events, but keep in mind that they are fictional. They are designed to help you learn English in an engaging and practical manner. By listening to these stories, you're training your ear to grasp more natural speech and broadening your vocabulary. Now let's discuss a universal experience, making mistakes and learning from them. Have you ever made a mistake that seemed significant at first, but later transformed into a valuable lesson? Mistakes are part of life, and I'd like to share a story about one mistake I made that taught me something important. A few years back, I embarked on a new job. During my first week, I aimed to leave a good impression. I was in charge of sending a crucial email to all employees in the company. I crafted the email meticulously and checked it thoroughly before hitting send. A few minutes later, I realized that I had made a grave error. I had attached the wrong file. Instead of the report, I sent a personal document by mistake. Panic set in, and I felt embarrassed. Unsure of what to do, I hurried to my manager, Mr. Johnson, and explained the situation. I expected him to be upset, but he smiled and said, "Everyone makes mistakes, Natasha. The key is how you address them." He advised me to send a follow-up email with the correct attachment and a brief apology. I followed his advice, and to my surprise, the response was very understanding. This experience taught me a significant lesson. Mistakes are not catastrophic. What truly counts is how you respond to them. If you err, don't freak out. Take a moment to breathe, find a solution, and learn from it. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation? How did you rectify it? Kindness matters. Now let's shift to another story. This one highlights a small act of kindness that had a substantial impact. One rainy afternoon, while driving home, I noticed an elderly woman at a bus stop without an umbrella. She appeared cold and uncomfortable. Though I typically don't stop for strangers, something compelled me to pull over and offer assistance. She smiled and mentioned that she was waiting for a bus that was running late. I offered to call her a taxi, and she was tremendously appreciative. We chatted while we waited, and she shared stories about her life, her grandchildren, and her passion for gardening. When the taxi arrived, she took my hand and thanked me. That moment of kindness served as a reminder that even small gestures can significantly brighten someone's day. Her words resonated with me. That simple interaction reinforced the idea that kindness doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as a smile, a kind word, or aiding someone who needs help. Have you ever performed a small act that significantly impacted someone else? Or received help from someone in a way you'll always remember? Sometimes, we don't fully appreciate how much our actions can mean to others. Decision making. Let's discuss a common scenario, making choices. Every day we encounter decisions, whether they're significant or minor. Some choices are straightforward, such as what to have for breakfast, while others can be quite challenging. I'll share a personal experience regarding a tough decision I faced. A few years back, I was in a comfortable job, yet I wasn't fulfilled. I yearned for something new, but fear held me back. What if I failed? What if I chose incorrectly? After weeks of contemplation, I decided to take a leap of faith. I left my job and embarked on a path that I genuinely loved. It was challenging, but ultimately rewarding. Looking back, I realized that sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most rewarding opportunities. Have you ever faced a tough decision? How did you approach it? Often we tend to overthink, but in the end, self-trust is crucial. Patience in life. Let's take a moment to reflect on our discussion so far. Mistakes, kindness, and choices. These elements are integral to life, and our responses to them shape our identities. But there's another important aspect: patience. We often desire swift results, yet sometimes we must wait. I'd like to share one more story. Years ago, my husband and I planned a vacation to a stunning island. We were thrilled, but upon reaching the airport, we learned our flight was delayed by 6 hours. Initially, I was annoyed. I just wanted to reach our destination. However, I decided to shift my perspective. Rather than complain, we utilized the time to read, chat, and play word games. When we finally boarded, I realized that patience can transform a frustrating experience into an opportunity to enjoy the moment. Have you ever found yourself in a situation requiring you to wait longer than anticipated? How did you cope? Patience isn't always simple, but it helps us remain composed and make the most of every situation. Daily habits. Let's continue with more real-life narratives. Imagine waking up and contemplating all the tasks ahead. Work, school, or important responsibilities awaiting you. Some days feel manageable, while others can be overwhelming. Now consider this. What if a minor change in your daily habits could enhance your entire day? What if a simple morning decision could help you remain calm, focused, and happy throughout your day? I'd like to tell you how one small habit transformed my life. A few years ago, I would wake up late each morning, rushing to get ready, skipping breakfast, and dashing out the door, feeling stressed. I believed I was saving time by sleeping in, but my day seemed chaotic. I was often in a hurry, forgetting crucial items, and feeling drained before the day even began. One day, I decided to change things up. Instead of waking up at the last moment, I set my alarm for 30 minutes earlier. It was tough at first, but I soon noticed a positive shift. I had time to enjoy my morning coffee quietly, jot down my goals for the day, and even take a short walk. That simple change, waking up a bit earlier, allowed me to feel more in control of my day. I no longer felt rushed and could concentrate better at work. Have you ever made a minor alteration to your routine that had a significant effect? Sometimes, the smallest habits can yield the greatest improvements in our lives. It might be as simple as drinking a glass of water in the morning, listing 3 things you're thankful for, or stretching for 5 minutes before the day begins. Small actions can lead to significant results over time. Dealing with unexpected problems. Now let's discuss a universal experience: unexpected problems. Life doesn't always unfold as we plan. Regardless of how much we prepare, unforeseen issues may arise. What truly matters is our response. Let me recount a time when everything went awry, yet I learned a valuable lesson. It was a Sunday morning when my family and I planned a road trip. We were excited after weeks of planning. We loaded our bags, hopped in the car, and hit the road. Everything was perfect. The weather was delightful, the road was clear, and our favorite songs filled the air. Then, after about an hour, our car unexpectedly broke down. The engine failed, and we found ourselves stranded on the roadside. Initially, I felt irritated. I had envisioned a flawless trip, but it seemed ruined. My husband and I exited the car and attempted to rectify the issue, but it was beyond our capabilities. Our only option was to call for assistance and wait. While waiting, I looked around and noticed that the location we were stuck in was quite lovely. There were tall trees, birds chirping, and a tranquil quietude we rarely experienced in our bustling city life. Instead of sulking in the car, we chose to savor the moment. We discovered a small picnic area nearby, enjoyed some snacks, and reminisced about amusing memories from past trips. After a few hours, a mechanic arrived, repaired the car, and we continued our journey. However, that experience left a lasting impression on me. It taught me that unexpected issues don't have to ruin our day. They can offer us a chance to slow down and appreciate things we usually overlook. Have you ever encountered a plan that took an unexpected turn? How did you respond? The way we tackle problems can alter our feelings about them. Rather than viewing a problem as a catastrophe, consider it an opportunity to learn something new or to have a different experience. Communication and misunderstandings. Let's discuss communication. We engage in conversations daily, with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. Yet, misunderstandings can occur. Have you ever expressed something and later realized the other person misinterpreted your message? Or felt irritated because someone didn't grasp what you intended to convey? I'd like to share an experience that highlighted the significance of clear communication. A couple of years ago, I was collaborating on a significant project with my team, facing an impending deadline, which kept everyone busy. One afternoon, I sent a brief message to my teammate, Lisa, requesting some essential files. I wrote, "Hey Lisa, can you send me the files when you have time?" Lisa responded, "Sure." Yet hours went by without the files arriving. I began to feel exasperated as I needed them to complete my work. Later that evening, I checked back with her. "Lisa, do you have the files?" She looked taken aback and said, "Oh, I thought you meant whenever I had some free time, not that you needed them today." That's when I realized my error. My message was too ambiguous. I should have specified, "I need them by 5 p.m. today," instead of saying, "when you have time." This minor misunderstanding delayed our project, but it also imparted a crucial lesson. Effective communication is precise communication. Have you ever encountered a misunderstanding due to ambiguous language? It happens to everyone. The most effective way to prevent it is to be specific in our speech or writing. Rather than saying, "I need this soon," try expressing, "I need this by tomorrow morning." Instead of saying, "Let's meet later," say, "Let's meet at 3 p.m. at the cafe." Small details can significantly influence our understanding of one another. The importance of listening. Now let's address something even more crucial: listening. Effective communication entails not only speaking clearly, but also listening intently. Have you ever had a conversation where you felt the other person wasn't truly paying attention? Perhaps they were distracted by their phone, preoccupied with other thoughts, or interrupting you before you finished. Listening is a skill that can enhance our relationships, work, and even learning. Let me recount a moment when listening altered my perspective on a situation. One evening, my friend Daniel called me, sounding upset. As he explained the issue he was facing at work, I instinctively began thinking of solutions. Wanting to offer advice, I interrupted him, saying, "You should do this." However, he sighed and replied, "Natasha, I don't need advice right now. I just need someone to listen." That moment taught me something essential. Sometimes people don't seek solutions. They simply want to feel heard. After that, I chose to remain quiet and listen to him. I nodded, asked a few questions, and allowed him to express himself. By the end of the call, he said, "Thank you. I feel so much better now." without me providing any advice. Have you ever had a similar experience? Sometimes the most helpful thing you can do is to listen. Instead of contemplating your next response, focus entirely on the speaker. It can make a significant difference in their day. Starting a new job. Now let's consider another real-life scenario that many of us have encountered. Starting a new job. It's exciting, yet it can also be daunting. New responsibilities, new colleagues, and a lot of pressure to perform well can become overwhelming. I remember when my cousin Daniel landed his first job. He had worked hard in college and was eager about his new role at a marketing company. However, on his first day he felt utterly lost. Everything was different. New office, new coworkers, and new systems to familiarize himself with. He wanted to impress but feared making mistakes. During his initial meeting, his manager posed a question regarding a project. At that moment, Daniel didn't know the answer, resulting in embarrassment and thoughts of inadequacy. However, instead of panicking, he calmly responded, "I'm not sure about that yet, but I'll look into it and get back to you." His manager nodded and moved on. Later that day, Daniel researched the query and emailed the answer. His manager replied, "Great work. Thank you for following up." This small experience taught Daniel a valuable lesson. It's perfectly fine not to know everything right away. What truly matters is how you respond to challenges and your eagerness to learn. In the following weeks, Daniel made a concerted effort to ask questions and take notes. He observed how his colleagues handled tasks and didn't let fear hinder him from trying. After a few months, he emerged as one of the most confident employees in his department. This is a lesson we can all take to heart. Starting something new can naturally bring feelings of uncertainty. However, rather than second-guessing ourselves, we should concentrate on learning and growing. Every expert was once a beginner. Every skilled individual started with no prior experience. The key is to persist, even when facing difficulties. Time management. Let's shift our focus to another important challenge: managing time. In our modern lives, we juggle numerous responsibilities: work, studies, family obligations, and personal aspirations. Yet we only have 24 hours each day. How can we keep everything balanced without becoming overwhelmed? I'd like to share a story about my friend Sarah. She is a teacher and a mother of 2 small children. She cherishes her job and family, but for a long period, she felt as if she never had enough time. Sarah would rise early, rush to her job, return home, care for her children, and by the day's end, she was utterly exhausted. She had zero time for herself and felt continually behind. One day she confided in me, "I feel busy all the time, yet I'm not accomplishing anything." She wanted quality time with her kids, success at work, and time to unwind, but it appeared to be an impossible feat. I inquired, "Have you ever considered creating a daily schedule?" She replied, "No. I've thought it over, but I'm unsure how to begin." So I proposed a straightforward approach. Note down everything you do in a day, then assess where your time is being spent. She committed to trying it for a week, documenting how she allocated each hour during her days. At week's end, she reviewed her notes and discovered something unexpected. She was devoting considerable time to trivial, non-essential tasks. For instance, Sarah frequently checked her phone and readily agreed to every favor, even when she was already occupied. After recognizing this, she decided to implement changes. She established specific times for checking her phone. Rather than constantly glancing at it, She also started declining requests that weren't significant. Most importantly, she crafted a simple timetable. Mornings designated for work, evenings for family, and 30 minutes each night just for herself. Within a month, she noticed a remarkable change. She was less stressed and finally had time for what truly mattered. She even resumed reading books, an activity she hadn't enjoyed in years. Sarah's experience serves as a reminder that we all have an equal amount of time every day. The difference lies in how we choose to utilize it. By managing our time thoughtfully, we can achieve more without feeling overwhelmed. Decision-making. Now let's explore another crucial skill, decision-making. We make choices daily, from minor decisions like what to have for breakfast to significant ones like selecting a career or relocating to a new city. Some decisions are straightforward, while others can feel daunting. I recall my Uncle James, who faced a major decision. After 15 years at the same company, he was comfortable, but then he received an enticing job offer from another company. This new position offered higher pay and better benefits, but it came with the challenge of relocating. He spent weeks contemplating his options. He created lists to compare advantages and disadvantages, consulted with friends and family, and even enumerated his concerns. Fears raced through his mind. What if I don't enjoy the new job? What if I make the wrong choice? Ultimately, he came to an important realization. He would never find a perfect answer. Every decision carries some level of risk, yet he also recognized that remaining stagnant wouldn't promote his growth. Thus, he took a deep breath and accepted the new position. The initial months were tough, but he gradually adapted. In hindsight, he described that choice as one of the best he ever made. His journey taught me a vital lesson. Sometimes we procrastinate on decisions because we seek perfection, but perfection doesn't exist. What truly matters is to take action and keep moving forward. If you find yourself wrestling with a decision, consider employing James's strategy. Create lists of pros and cons, seek advice from trusted individuals, and remember that no option is devoid of risk. However, by taking a step forward, you can learn and adjust as you go. Building confidence. Now let's discuss an impactful aspect of personal development, building confidence. Many individuals grapple with self-assurance, particularly when learning a new language, trying unfamiliar activities, or meeting new people. My cousin Adam had always been shy. He shunned public speaking and never volunteered for any activities. Although he aspired to be more confident, he lacked the roadmap to achieve it. One day, his teacher assigned the class a task: deliver a brief speech. Adam felt anxious, but instead of evading it, he resolved to prepare. He practiced in front of a mirror, then with his family. When the presentation day arrived, he still felt jittery, but he reminded himself, "I've rehearsed for this. I know my material." He stood up, articulated his speech clearly, and completed it successfully. Afterward, his teacher praised him, saying, "Excellent job, Adam. Your hard work really shows." That brief moment ignited a transformation within him. He recognized that confidence isn't an innate trait, it's built through action. From that point forward, he began to take small steps. He raised his hand more frequently in class, engaged in discussions, and even participated in school functions. Gradually, he grew more at ease with speaking publicly. He no longer feared it. Though he still experienced nervousness at times, he didn't allow it to hinder him. Confidence functions like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. If you wish to enhance your confidence, start small. Voicing your opinion in conversations, trying new things, and progressing step by step will ultimately lead to a feeling of increased strength. Conclusion. Let's explore more real-life experiences that can enhance your confidence and communication abilities. Confidence isn't an innate trait. It's something that develops through time and effort. Each small action we take contributes to our growth and resilience. However, often the toughest part is initiating that first step. Many individuals grapple with fear. Fear of failure, fear of making errors, or fear of others' opinions. Yet, the reality is that confronting our fears diminishes their hold over us. Consider Maria, a young woman who always envisioned launching her own bakery. From a young age, she adored baking cookies, cakes, and pastries. Every weekend, she tried out new recipes, gaining praise from her family for her skills. However, when she contemplated transforming her hobby into a business, fear gripped her. She pondered questions like, what if no one buys my cakes? What if I fail? What if people don't like my baking? For years, she postponed her dream. Although she worked at a job she didn't enjoy, the fear of taking risks kept her stagnant. One day, a friend reminded her, "You'll never know unless you try. What's the worst that could happen? Even if things don't go as expected, you'll learn something worthwhile." This made Maria reflect on how fear had held her back. So she resolved to begin modestly. Rather than launching a bakery immediately, she started selling cakes online. Initially, she had only a handful of customers, her neighbors, friends, and family. Gradually, her reputation grew, and more people began ordering from her. After a year, she saved enough to open a small shop. The first few months posed challenges. She had to wake up early, work extensive hours, and face unexpected hurdles. There were days she felt drained and questioned her decision. But each time she saw a happy customer enjoying her cakes, she was inspired to persevere. 2 years later, her bakery became one of the most cherished locations in town. She was fulfilling her passion and had overcome her fear of failure. She learned that success comes from taking that initial step, even when she felt unprepared. Maria's journey teaches us an important lesson. Fear will always exist, but we shouldn't allow it to dictate our actions. If we take gradual steps, learn from our errors, and keep moving forward, we can achieve more than we ever thought possible. Now let's discuss another vital skill: communication. Effective communication is essential for success in all aspects of life. Whether speaking with friends, family, coworkers, or even strangers, our communication style influences our relationships and opportunities. Think of a time you misunderstood someone, or were misunderstood. Miscommunication can lead to issues, while clear communication can resolve them. For example, John and Lisa were close friends who one day had a significant disagreement. Lisa felt unheard, while John thought Lisa was being overly sensitive. They both became upset and stopped communicating for a few weeks. Eventually, Lisa took the initiative to reach out and sent a message saying, "I miss our friendship. Can we talk?" John agreed to meet for coffee. During their discussion, they both paid close attention to each other's feelings. John recognized that he had been interrupting Lisa frequently, and Lisa understood that she had wrongly assumed John didn't care, when he simply struggled to express himself. After their conversation, both felt relieved. They discovered that effective communication involves more than just speaking. It requires listening, understanding, and respecting one another's feelings. If you find yourself in a misunderstanding, keep this in mind. Take a moment to breathe and remain calm. Listen attentively before responding. Ask questions if anything is unclear. Express your emotions honestly but considerately. Try to view the situation from the other person's perspective. Good communication can resolve conflicts, foster trust, and strengthen relationships. By practicing it regularly, we can witness positive shifts in our lives. An essential skill that benefits us in life is adaptability. Life is filled with changes, some anticipated and others not. Those who thrive are often those who can adjust quickly. Consider Robert, a man who worked as a travel agent for 15 years, assisting clients in planning their vacations. He was passionate about his career until an unforeseen shift occurred. An increasing number of people began booking trips online, resulting in a declining need for travel agents. Initially, Robert was frustrated. With his extensive experience, he found his role diminishing in importance. However, rather than giving up, he pondered, "How can I repurpose my skills?" Recognizing his expertise in travel planning, he opted to launch a blog where he shared travel advice and insights. He mastered social media usage, learned to craft engaging content, and produced videos. Within a year, his blog gained immense popularity. He collaborated with travel companies and soon earned more than he did as a travel agent. Robert's experience illustrates that change doesn't signify an end, but opens doors to new beginnings. By remaining open to learning, we can transform challenges into opportunities. If you find yourself in a situation that isn't unfolding as planned, keep a positive mindset. Each challenge is a chance to expand your knowledge and acquire new skills. The more skills you possess, the more options are available to you. Embrace change. Often, the most rewarding opportunities arise from the unexpected. Now let's shift our focus to another significant topic, goal setting. Many individuals have aspirations and dreams, but face difficulties in realizing them due to uncertainty about where to begin. One effective strategy for achieving your goals is to decompose them into manageable steps. For instance, if your aim is to learn English fluently, it may seem daunting if you tackle the entire goal at once. However, what if you segmented it into smaller tasks? Aim to learn 10 new words weekly, practice speaking for 5 minutes daily, regularly listen to English podcasts or watch English videos, read short stories or simple texts in English, and find a language partner to converse with. By consistently following these small steps, you'll notice significant progress in a few months. This method is applicable to any goal, be it getting fit, saving money, or mastering a new skill. Instead of fixating on the distance to your goal, concentrate on what actions you can take today. Take Mark, for example. He wanted to improve his fitness, yet he had never exercised before. Initially, he felt disheartened thinking, "I'm too unfit. I've missed my chance to start." Nevertheless, instead of giving up, he opted for small, manageable steps. In the first week, he committed to walking for 10 minutes each day. The following week, he increased it to 15 minutes. Gradually, he incorporated more exercise and adjusted his eating habits. A year later, he had lost weight, gained strength, and felt more vibrant than ever. The key was not to do everything at once, but to maintain consistency through small actions. If you have a goal, consider this approach. Articulate your goal clearly, break it down into straightforward, smaller steps, and take action daily, even if it's minimal. Be patient since progress demands time. Celebrate small achievements along the way. Success isn't about achieving perfection. It's about maintaining consistency. Resilience. Let's discuss another vital skill, resilience. Life can be quite challenging. We all encounter setbacks, disappointments, and tough situations. However, those who achieve success are the ones who persist, even during hard times. I'd like to share Emily's story. She applied for her ideal job 5 times, facing rejection each time. She felt disheartened and considered giving up but chose instead to seek feedback, enhance her skills, and apply once more. On her 6th attempt, she finally secured the position. Her manager later shared, "We didn't select you initially, but your determination set you apart." This narrative illustrates that failure doesn't signify the end. Rather, it's simply part of the journey. Each failure teaches us something, bringing us closer to success. Conclusion. Today we've covered numerous challenges: forming friendships, handling difficult individuals, public speaking, and maintaining motivation. Yet there's still more to explore. Every experience and challenge we encounter imparts valuable lessons. Reflecting on difficult times often reveals that those moments taught us the most about ourselves. The more we practice these skills, such as seeking assistance, exercising patience, or staying motivated, the more adept we become at facing life's obstacles. It may not always be simple, but it is always worthwhile. So when you encounter a challenge, no matter the size, keep these stories in mind. Take a moment to breathe deeply, seek help if necessary, and continue moving ahead. You might be surprised by how far you can go when you make the effort.